Greetings and salutations, welcome to another Wonderkid video. Today we're going to be looking at the pointy end of the game, the most important position in most people's eyes. It's the striker. So here is my small list that I've built up. This is the culmination of my own knowledge and experienced FM player since it began as Championship Manager, and also talking to my friends that also play Football Manager, my scouting network at Real Madrid, and my Liverpool save, and also talking to people on the forums and all that sort of stuff. So there is plenty of striker wonder kids. There may be some better than the ones in this list, but these are some of my favourites. So, and a couple of them are a bit more affordable than your sort of ridiculous stars. There's a couple of stupidly expensive guys on here that are like, you know, if you could have the money, you know, if you're a Man United or whatever, you might be able to get, well, you own two already, so maybe not. Bad example. But here's some of my favourites. I'm leaving, there's no British guys on the list because I'm making a separate British Wonder list with all my favourite British players. So let's get straight into it. First off, we have 16-year-old Gabrielle Barbosa. He is a full-on striker. He can play winger, but he can't. Ignore that. And he plays for Gremio. And he is absolute quality. He's a flair player. Definitely a flair player. Needs some work, but he's 16 years old. His physicals, are really good for somebody of 16 because they go up naturally of a lot of those, and so he's going to be an absolute beast. Decent pace for a 16-year-old. He's a really good all-rounder. He's got a work rate of 17, so he's going to run around all the time, and determination is okay at 10, which two of the stats that help a guy improve and reach their potential. My scouts at Real Madrid think he's 4.5 stars, so that shows how good he could possibly become, and having somebody that young means you can mould them into exactly the kind of striker you want. Next up, we have Yoel Pirro, PSV. This guy, he's 15 years old, okay, and you can pick him up for around about 1.4 million-ish, depending on your negotiation skills. Just this one was a bit more on the affordable side, but a really good player. 15 years old. You get him into your team, you give him some tutoring, you get him some working on some areas that you want in depending on how you wanted to play him. And he will become a quality player. My Real Madrid scouts rate him at a possible 5 stars. So, yeah, he's going to be a monster. And you can pick him up cheap. Next up, we have Maximiliano Romero. He is a 16-year-old Argentinian. And kind of just another decent rounder, really. This one, a really good player. Possible 5 stars again from Real Madrid, but more so because I liked him because he was cheap. Compensation 1.1 million. Can't say fairer than that. 16 years old, look at his stats. You know, he could become a world-class player for £1 million. You know, do you need more information than that? Next up, what the fuck is that name? I'm not good with names at the best of times. Donis Avdijaj. He's an 18-year-old German playing for Sturm Graz. He can play striker and attacking midfielder, and also on the wings. He's okay-ish at winger. But he's just a really good all-round striker. He's got all the main stats without being particularly outstanding in any area. He's a little short arse at 5'6". Places shots, which is one of my favourite preferred moves. Comes deeps to get the ball, which you might want to try and dissuade him from that if you're playing him up top. But just a really, really good all-rounder, really. There's no real weaknesses in his game. There's a couple of little mental issues there. He's not the highest work rate, and decision-making and concentration are sort of maybe the areas. Some good tutoring might help with those sort of stats. Next up, we have a famous Football Manager player. I put him in here just because it felt wrong if I didn't. Gabrielle Barbosa. You can get him for around 10 million. He becomes a monster. We all know him. If you don't know him, you've obviously not played Football Manager before. But yeah, this guy's a fantastic all-rounder, becomes world-class. That's about all I can say, really. I think we all know enough about him. Next up, we have Breel Mbolo. Now, I wasn't sure whether to put him in the striker category or the winger category, but I thought I'd just put him in the striker because he's kind of brilliant everywhere. He's an 18-year-old Swiss player. You can pick him up for around 15 million. So he is affordable for a lot of clubs. He's very versatile. Places shots, plays with back to goal and cuts inside from the left wing. He's got decent all-round physicals for somebody of his age. I think they'll improve. He'll end up with really good physicals. He's a flair player. He's got techniques 14. His passing's 12 as well. So I probably would play him up front on the wing. I probably wouldn't play him attacking midfield. His passing's 12. His long shot's 7. I would play him maybe as an inside forward on the wing. But with finishing 14, composure 13, off the ball 13. But like I said, another 4.5 star potential. He's going to be beastly, and a bit more expensive this time, but 15 million is still cheap for what you got. Next up, we've got 2 well-known players. I thought I'd put them in there because they are just examples of how good a player can be, really. Memphis, although struggling in real life at Man United, got a goal recently at the weekend, but you can play him as a winger or a striker, I think, equally well. Inside forward winger, brilliant, but as a striker, just as good. Obviously, he's not your target man, but other than that, he's an absolute beast, and he's only going to get better. But if you wanted to buy him off Man United, I have no idea how much it'd cost you. Probably, we're talking Gareth Bale money, probably, to prize him away from Man United. And then the new kid on the block this year, Anthony Martial, definitely plays as a sort of striker. He can play on the wings, but not really. Ignore Van Gaal. He's not a winger. He is a striker. Really pacey, really good acceleration, which is almost, as a striker, especially if you're playing on the last man, the acceleration is almost more important because it's that first couple of yards. But he's still really pacey, really good physicals for a 19-year-old. He's got all the important stats for a finisher. He's 15 finishing, composure's 14, first touch 15, off the ball 15. There's no weak areas in his game. He's only going to get better. He's already valued at 26 million, so God knows how much he's going to cost if you try and sign him. So there it is. We have our strikers complete. I'm sure there's lots more. I haven't included British players, like I said, because I want to make a separate British video, which will be on the channel soon. But I wanted to pick a few players that were maybe a bit more affordable as well as, like the Martials of this world. So I hope you enjoyed it. Leave comments. Tell me who your favourite players are, what little finds you've got in your Football Manager. Especially if they're sort of cheaper players. I think that helps more people out. And please like and subscribe. That would be fantastic. I plan to do tons more FM content as well as other gaming goodies and stuff. And I love you all. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.